Welcome back to this Thing of Ours podcast
where we talk about all of life's highs and lows
and everything in between. First of all, before we even start this podcast, we have 200 subscribers.
We do.
Holy crap. Like, that's crazy. 200 people is a lot.
It is. It definitely is. I couldn't imagine, and I know you said this the other day, actually going in front of 200 people and public speaking like that.
I know.
It would be very, very nerve-wracking. I don't know if I'd be able to do it.
No, I find it's funny because it's so much easier because you're just talking to a camera, but talking to people through it, you know, and you're not actually seeing the people presently in front of you. And I feel like, you know, one of my goals is to do like a TED Talk, but can I really talk in front of all those people? Like, definitely that's more than 200 people, you know, in the room. And I feel like I would just start sweating. Like, do you remember in like school when you used to do public speaking, talking in front of the class, showing your project? Like, if your job does entail public speaking, like, you know, in a conference room or, you know, talking to your coworkers as a group, like, how do you guys feel? Are you guys used to it? Or when you guys first started, were you like shaking? You're like, oh my gosh, I have to do this presentation in front of my boss. I'm sweating. Like, how did you guys really feel? Like, do you remember how you felt?
Well, I mean, I never really had to do that for work. But yes, definitely in school, I hated it. I dreaded every moment of it leading up to it. And while I was there, my hands were sweating. I was sweating. My face was probably beet red.
Yeah.
Like, no, I tried to avoid it at all costs, but obviously you can't. Yeah.
I would have to apply extra deodorant. That is one thing I remember. It's just me being like, keep that deodorant in my bag because I knew I was just sweating.
Yeah.
And I would get like super, super hot. And I would just be like, hey, just look straight, find like a certain area of the classroom and just focus on that class. Just focus on that area, but it has to be like right straight ahead so people don't think you're looking down and talking to the ground, right? So I would just find an area that would be like eye level and like I would just focus right on that level. Yeah, that's how I feel about public speaking.
Yeah. And a little trick was to always try to go first. That way, even if you do mess up a little bit, or your presentation isn't as good as everybody else's, the teacher was always like a little bit more lenient on you, because there was nothing to compare you to yet.
Yeah, because right? Sometimes I'd be doing the bare minimum for those projects, and then the person that goes first is like doing this whole presentation. You know, they worked so hard on it, they put in the hours to make that presentation bomb, and then I'm just like, okay.
Glad I went first.
I know. Or, oh gosh, my project is not like that, but she already graded me, so she can't change my grade. Because sometimes I've had teachers that would write like, did not put enough effort. But I'd be like, what do you mean I didn't put enough effort? Just because like the other students
put more doesn't mean I didn't put any.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. But with that said, it is very nice that all of you have subscribed up to this point.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, 200 people. Like, it's actually crazy to think that we actually achieved that up to this point so far. And one thing we are very much looking forward to is getting that community tab on our channel.
So we can actually talk to you guys and keep you guys in the loop of like what's going on, you know, what's to come. And I can't wait to get that community tab.
I know.
Like, I've been dreaming of getting that community tab. I think it's so cool. I really do.
It is a very cool feature that they added. It hasn't always been there. It's just in the past little bit that I've seen it.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, it is a very nice feature that they added.
Yeah.
And we're definitely looking forward to having that.
Yeah, I think you get that like at 500 subscribers. So we're close.
So if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel.
Hit that subscribe button and then like this video.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's not what this podcast is actually about. The other day we were thinking about, how crazy it is that we've actually been together for over 6 years now, and how fast time has went.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen how the video of how we met, you can click that link. It'll be right above here. But yes, me and Curtis, just as a summary for all the new people who have yet to see that video, me and Curtis have met 6 years ago on Tinder, and it's been a ride.
Yes. But over the years and from the start, I feel like there have been things that brought us closer together. Um, and I feel like I kind of want to discuss those things that, you know, made the difference and helped us along and made the relationship go smoother over the years and just kind of brought us closer together. You know what I mean? So I think one of the main things, especially right at the start of the relationship, was our values and our goals, right? Because we met on Tinder, but we first met and started kind of hanging out while we were both in school, right? So you had your goals of achieving what you wanted to achieve, and the reason you were at school was to graduate and complete it and do good at it. And at the time, I was going back to college, right? Because I had already went and I dropped out originally, but I went back more focused and actually wanted to achieve it. So meeting you and having you present the same determination that I wanted, I feel like that really helped our relationship. And at the time, it was just a friendship, even though I wanted it to be more. At the time, it was just a friendship, but we were hanging out a lot and studying together, doing homework together. I would help you study, you would help me study, and yeah, I think that really brought us closer together.
Yeah, I want to jump off what you just said, because you said that we started as a friendship, and that's really what I looked at you as a friend. And I think that really brought us closer together because it made me feel more comfortable with you. And it made me feel like more open, like I was able to talk to you about things that I'd never been able to talk about with the opposite sex before. Like I think I had like one really close guy friend, but that was it. Like it was just a friend type of thing. But with you, I just felt like starting a whole new, like making friends in a whole new city and having to trust people and having to meet people and hang out with them. I think you are where it really started, and you helped me get out my shell of talking to people more and being more social again. And yeah, I feel like you helped me. Being your friend first allowed me to get to know you, what your values were, what you wanted to achieve in life, what goals you had set for yourself, and where you saw yourself, let's say, in the next 10 years. I think that really made me want to be with you more. And I feel like that's kind of like what drew me closer to you, of wanting to, stick around for the ride.
Yeah. So I think what you just said about like building the friendship first, I think that really did help us. And that was very foundational to our relationship, because I feel like going into a relationship and meeting someone new with a strict goal of being in a relationship, I feel like you have higher expectations and you don't build that foundation like we did. And I think that was very, very helpful for our relationship to get to know each other first before anything.
Yeah, because we weren't even planning really to date. Like I wasn't really planning to date you, right? So I had to look at you more as a friend. And then once I got to know you more as a person, and I was like, all right, I actually really like this person. I like the way I'm attracted to you, yes, but I liked you more than that. I like the fact that, you had your head on straight, you knew where you were going. Everyone has a past, and everyone has a dark side to their past. But I remember asking you, like, well, how's your past? And then you told me, and then I told you about my past, and then you're like, well, do we care? No, because that was the past, and I felt like you never judged me, and I definitely never judged you on yours, because everyone took a different route. And I feel like where we met, I felt like as a friend, I knew that you changed because I could look at you and see that you changed, and you look at me and you can see that I've changed. And even throughout the years of us being together, I feel like we've grown definitely a lot as a relationship, but more as a friend. I think I definitely see us, like, so I know we're in a relationship, I know that, but a lot of the times I'm looking at you like, wow, like this is really my best friend. Like I can tell him anything, you know, and I don't,
without judgment.
yeah. I mean, you may be judging me in your head, but you're like, why would you do that? And you probably won't say that out loud sometimes. But no, I really look at you as my best friend. I feel like it's a different feeling when you're in a relationship and that's your best friend. Like we hang out together. You know, I feel like I don't get annoyed of you as much.
Sometimes. I think maybe just a little annoyed sometimes.
Yeah, but I also feel like I'm living with my best friend, you know? And just the fact that we started off this relationship as a friendship, and that's where we, like you said, we started our foundation. I think that helped our relationship grow to where it is today. And I think I'm really grateful for that, because I've never had that before. And even though like we share the same values in life, you know, it's okay to still have our differences. And that's also where we differ, you know, and I like that about us. Like you don't always have to agree with my opinion, and I don't always have to agree with yours, right? Definitely about our finances.
But we're able to communicate our differences and discuss them amongst each other, like, and not really judge each other on our differences, right? We can see each other's points, even though in the end, yes, we might still have our own opinion and think our certain way about certain things, but we're able to communicate and see it from the other person's side and be like, yeah, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. But
some things, like our last video.
Yes, like the one about good debt and bad debt. So if you haven't seen that episode, we'll put a sneak peek right here of what you missed. On an average basis, the value of homes do go up. But if you're paying more interest than the value of your home is increasing, then you're actually losing in the long run.
Yeah, we still don't agree.
But we're able to see each other's sides, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, so do you think anything else has brought us closer together over the years?
The number one thing for me that brought me closer to you, like the absolutely top thing, was us praying together. I think us allowing God into our relationship has really helped us grow together, because when I first met you, I remember I asked you, I said, do you believe in God? Because I think that was the most important thing. Not saying that I wouldn't be your friend if you didn't. It's just I don't think I would have been able to be in a relationship with you if you didn't believe in him, you know, like an actual committed relationship. But because you said that you did, and, you know, we started praying together and we started talking to God together, and we allowed, you know, just him into our relationship and guide us, I think that made me want to be with you more, you know, because of your love for God and the way you communicate, and, you know, just you being open and honest about your relationship. Like when you said in the past about how you felt about praying at first and talking to God, you were so open with me about that conversation, that it made me more attracted to you, and it also made me want to bring you closer to him, you know, and have you look at life a different way and not try to blame God for the things that have happened in your life, you know, and that made me want to have you build a better relationship with him. And I think that's what really made me want to get closer to you in that way, because, you know, at nighttime when we do pray, you know, we hold hands and we pray to God about, you know, what's our situation, the things that are going on in our life, or even, you know, just even if we had nothing really to say, you know, we just say thank you, you know, and I'm grateful for that. And I remember the other day, I think you brought up the topic of saying grace at the table. And I like the fact that we started doing that. Like, we don't do it every day. It's not in our routine every day, but, you know, occasionally we'll be like, you know, let's say grace, and we'll say it, you know, at the table. And I think that's what brought me closer to you. Is like, I love the fact that you want to build a relationship with God. So I almost feel like it's us four. I'm talking about my dog.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about trumpet, you, me, and God. I feel like it's us four in this relationship.
Yeah. One thing that I really like about like praying with you is I get to see kind of a different side of you, and I see where your morals kind of lie, and like how grateful you are for certain things and how much you care about other people and I guess the planet and animals, and like you pray for different things, and I see where your morals and values lie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one thing that I actually really like because that's when you really express it with no filter,
Yeah.
right? When you're praying,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of just let it all out, and yeah, I see like your true self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one thing that I really like about it. But like at the start, right? When you asked me like, do I believe in God? Yes, I did at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I had so much resentment, and I mentioned this in a previous podcast, right? I had so much resentment because of the direction my life took at such a young age. And yeah, just things like that. It was hard for me to see him in a good light. So I think you kind of brought me back from that, and that's something I'm very grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like it's definitely helped our relationship
Mm-hmm.
grow better because now I don't have that resentment hanging over me anymore, right?
I think another thing that has brought me closer to you was um not allowing, other people into our relationship. Um I feel like, when you have too many friends and family involved in your relationship, it can get very messy. And, at the start of our relationship, yes, we built a foundation because no one really knew that we were dating. Um, People knew we were friends, but no one actually thought that we were dating
Mhm.
until, we allowed people to finally know, and people just found out that, yeah, we were dating. I think from there, that's kind of like when I felt our relationship was starting to get messy and too many people were starting to get involved in a relationship. And that's when I noticed that our relationship no longer was just you, me, and God. Our relationship was you, me, and whoever we talked to whenever we were mad at each other. And I feel like at that moment, when people were saying, oh no, you should leave him, or you should leave her, for what was happening at the beginning of our relationship when it was starting to get rocky. um I think that's when we kind of just stopped talking to people. Like,
Mhm.
stop talking about our relationship to people is what I mean. And then our relationship finally became you, me, and God. And we started talking to God. That's when we started praying more. And that's something I noticed about. And that was something, and I feel like that's when I noticed I was starting to feel closer to you, because now it was just you, me, and God in a relationship. Whenever we had a problem, I talked to God. Like I said earlier about the praying part, I love that I felt closer to you when we started praying. But it also started when we stopped allowing outsiders' opinions affect our relationship. So,
Mhm.
like, when you would piss me off, right? I call a friend, or I call my mother, or I'll call whoever, and they'd be like, oh, you need to leave him. And, like, it's like you're telling all the bad things about another person to your friend, right? And your friend only sees one view of it, or your family member, whoever you're talking to, is only seeing from their side, from your side, that you're telling them about your one side. They're not seeing anything else good about this person, because all you're doing is telling them something bad, right?
Mhm.
So eventually the bad kind of will outweigh the good if you're not talking about the good things about this person to your friends or your family or whoever, right? So I think when we stopped allowing people's opinions disrupt what we have, I feel like that's when our relationship, I think, started thriving and becoming more stronger. Because yes, we didn't tell anyone because we wanted to build a foundation, but foundation cracks.
Mhm.
It can crack, right? And I feel like when we allowed God to literally kind of come back, we talked about it. I feel like that's when we kind of glued things back up, patch things back up, type of thing. And I feel like that's when our relationship did start thriving, because now we were like, hey, it's just you and me. and this is what we're doing to make things work, and it's working. Now it's just, what do you think about me? What do I think about you? And how can we make this relationship work? Even though our relationship is not perfect, there's lots of rocky situations, and our opinions about certain things are different. I still think that is what makes us us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's okay to have different opinions on different things, but I feel like the communication, it is important, and we need to actually continue to keep that communication going to keep the relationship strong, because without it, I feel like that's when things will start falling apart. But taking outside opinions, like you were saying, and letting that influence your thought process and your decisions on the relationship, I think that's when things can really get detrimental, because like you said, if you're going to talk to them when you're upset and you're only telling them the bad things, that's all they're seeing.
Yeah.
And you're not really, I feel like we talk to other people more about negative stuff than we do about positive stuff. So they only see the negative, and that's all they're gonna play back to you. Like, why are you with this person if everything's negative, when really and truly not everything is negative. Right?
Yeah, it's just the situations you've been communicating with other people is what's negative, and like I said, that really took a toll on us, because when people are yapping in your ear telling one thing, and then you have another person yapping in your ear telling you another thing, it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, your emotions are all confused. And I'm just happy that it wasn't to a point where it was so bad where we're like, yeah, we're done, and we walked away from each other, because you are my best friend. I think I mentioned that earlier already. I feel like very myself with you, and that's something that I've never really experienced with the opposite sex, even as a friend or in a relationship with. So
yeah,
I feel like you are the very calm one, and I feel like sometimes I might be the little hyper one, just a little bit hyper, just a little bit.
A lot of the time.
No, just a little bit. Just a little.
More times than not.
Fine, I'll go with that one. But anyways, yeah, I feel like that is one thing that brought me closer to you, I think, is the fact that I can be myself.
Yeah, I feel like we can kind of be our authentic selves around each other. Like, like when we go into public, society almost makes us put on a mask and be someone we're not. Like when we're out in public or when we're at work, like we have to kind of tone it down a bit for society, right? Like we have to be someone we're not true, like someone we truly aren't, because society makes it that way. Like you're not allowed to do certain things, or you have to be a certain way, you have to present yourself a certain way, you can't say certain things in public. So it's very nice to be able to just come home and it just be us, and we accept each other for who we are and how we are. So it's nice to come back home and not have to deal with the outside world telling us who we need to be.
Yeah.
Right? We can just be ourselves around each other. Like, I accept you for you. You accept me for me. You can be weird if you want to be weird.
I'm not weird. Am I weird?
I mean, you have your moments, but I'm sure we all do, right? We're all weird in our own certain way. Like, what was that thing by Dr. Seuss?
I don't know.
I'll try to find it.
Oh, those who mine don't matter. Oh, those who mine don't matter, and those, I don't remember.
Who matter don't mind.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's true, right? Like, I think, but no, there was a different saying too about being weird. Let's see if I can find it. We are all a little weird, and life's a little weird. And when we find someone whose weirdness is compatible with ours, we join up with them and fall in mutual weirdness and call it love. So do you agree with that?
Sure.
Yeah, that's a Dr. Seuss saying. And it's true. Like, once we find someone that we can actually be our true selves with and be weird, because we're all weird. We are. Like, we all have our weird qualities to us. Some people will accept it and some won't. But I think that's something that we found in each other. You can be you, I can be me.
Yeah, and we basically kind of accept it. Yes, there's some things, like I said earlier, that we don't always get along. Like, obviously, every relationship's gonna have their problems, right? But one thing that I think you're right about is the fact that I let you be you at the end of the day. And I think that's why we've worked so well, because of our friendship, and I think the mutual respect that we've developed for each other over the years. So I feel like, all in all, there's really four things that we've come across this podcast that made us feel closer with each other. Like I say, there's still bumps in the relationship, but as we climb over it, we realize that, that was just a small little bump, and we're still together. So, like, having the same values in life, and, the same similar goals, but allowing us to be independent to reach our own goals instead of always trying to reach the same goals together, right? But our goals still align with what we want in life, the same things, the praying, I think praying to God has been the number one factor in this relationship with why we've been together for so long. Like, when I think back about it, you've opened up about your relationship with God has been, I think, amazing to me, because you've been very honest about it. And that makes me feel more attracted to you, and also makes me want to be with you more, because now I see that you're allowing God into your life. You've forgiven him. And you're looking at God a different way, and you're trying to build that relationship with him. And I love that. And I don't think you're doing it just for me. I actually think you're starting to do it for yourself, really and truly. And the other one was not allowing people into this relationship, because we did mention that is something we were doing. Once our foundation was kind of built on our friendship, we started dating. That's when we started allowing people to get into our heads. But I think once we realized what was happening, we're like, yeah, this is not going to work, And then the last thing I gathered was
being our authentic selves around each other.
Yes. And I think that is also another important factor, because I couldn't be myself with you. I don't know. I don't think I would be able to be happy.
No, it wouldn't work long term if you have to be someone you're not. No, and I agree with all those points that we have discussed, because they are very important and very foundational to a relationship. And I feel like they are basically the reasons why we've gotten this far in the relationship. And going forward, obviously there's going to be things we will continue to need to work on. But I feel like with these things in place, I feel like we already have a head start, and we'll be able to, like you said, get over the little bumps that come up throughout the years.
And that is it for this podcast. Thank you for tuning in on a Sunday. We greatly appreciate everyone that has subscribed. The 200 plus subscribers. Still can't believe it. We are still in shock. Thank you so much. So if you would like to subscribe to this channel, you can hit that subscribe button, join the community, join the family. Like this video, comment, because we will always answer your comments, or we will always try to communicate with you. And we're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Sorry, I'm still looking outside the window, because right now it's getting dark again, because it's about to hit another storm. So we will see you guys next Sunday, because this is where we will be.
Or you can click that link over there. That's basically blocking Amelia for our previous video.
Yeah. Have a good day, guys. Peace. We need help with finally ending this 6-year debate. When I mean 6 years, because me and Curtis has been talking about this on and off for 6 years.